Tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Never lose, should've had better luck. I'ma wake 'em up from a slumber. Money ain't nothing but a thing, and the level ain't nothing but a number. Life ain't nothing but a game. Level up, level up. Never lose, should've had better luck. Tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Ball. Waking up meant that he gave me a chance and I'm rolling the dice. I do it all, living like I'm trying to go for the platinum trophy in life. Who can you call? Really nobody, so you should just follow me on your device. And know if she chilling with me, then it's bound to be chemical X and the sugar and spice. Game in the system, but game is the hobby. I'm probably cocky, but hot as wasabi. I mean, if it's beef, then you know where to find me. My niggas is ready and so is my body. You should be running and telling your posse and what's in the speakers and what's in your potty. And she trying to kick it, but this ain't karate. Just keep that shit down while I'm watching Tsunami. I ain't saying I'm a super nerd, but I told you when we got involved, my idea of a perfect date is a PlayStation and some alcohol. I was role playing on GTA. I'm a good guy, but I got it all. If the world should end, be the first to leave, but the last of us acting naughty, dog. Level up, level up. Never lose, should've had better luck. Tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Level up, level up. Tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Never lose, should've had better luck. I'ma wake 'em up from a slumber. Money ain't nothing but a thing, and the level ain't nothing but a number. Life ain't nothing but a game. Level up, level up. Never lose, should've had better luck. Tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Level up, level up. Never lose, should've had better luck. Tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Level up, level up. Tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Never lose, should've had better luck. I'ma wake 'em up from a slumber. Money ain't nothing but a thing, and the level ain't nothing but a number. Life ain't nothing but a game. Level up, level up. Never lose, should've had better luck. Tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. I wanna ball. Waking up meant that he gave me a chance and I'm rolling the dice. I do it all, living like I'm trying to go for the platinum trophy in life. Who can you call? Really nobody, so you should just follow me on your device. And know if she chilling with me, then it's bound to be chemical X and the sugar and spice. Game in the system, but game is the hobby. I'm probably cocky, but hot as wasabi. I mean, if it's beef, then you know where to find me. My niggas is ready and so is my body. You should be running and telling your posse and what's in the speakers and what's in your potty. And she trying to kick it, but this ain't karate. Just keep that shit down while I'm watching Tsunami. I ain't saying I'm a super nerd, but I told you when we got involved, my idea of a perfect date is a PlayStation and some alcohol. I was role playing on GTA. I'm a good guy, but I got it all. If the world should end, be the first to leave, but the last of us acting naughty, dog. Level up, level up. Never lose, should've had better luck. Tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Level up, level up. Tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Never lose, should've had better luck. I'ma wake 'em up from a slumber. Money ain't nothing but a thing, and the level ain't nothing but a number. Life ain't nothing but a game.
What is up, y'all? I'm back. I'm back. I am so excited to be back with you guys, hanging out with Trevor, talking about that that history stuff. This is Cogs In A Machine. This is an extra, like, it feels, I mean, we didn't have a show last week, but it feels like it's been an extra long time since we've sat down and just kicked it.
Yeah, it's been a couple weeks, so we just gotta get back in that groove.
Yeah,
last
especially
week
last
was
week.
yeah, last week was and I got my first shot last week.
Yay!
So, which was that was a situation. So originally I was supposed to get the Johnson & Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
And then on Wednesday. So on Tuesday, I get an email because that was the day when they were like, "Whoa, hold the brakes on the Johnson & Johnson vaccine."
Of course.
So I get an email from the place that I was supposed to get it at that said, "Hey, guess what? We're canceling." And I was like, "Dang it! I need to find a shot elsewhere, another shot somewhere, and schedule it." I didn't expect to find it so soon, but I actually found my local Walgreens had
Nice.
had the Pfizer at the Walgreens less than like 2 minutes from my house. So
Nice.
I was able to get the first of those shots, and I will get my second shot on May 5th.
I can't wait to get mine. Our general, they had the age group, so now today is when they opened it up, so I can't wait to go get mine.
Nice.
And if you guys knew, last week also we didn't have a show on Wednesday because if you followed us on Twitter, Fame's wife and daughter came down sick with COVID. They're doing a lot better now, but they're still in quarantine. So, yeah, his wife, I love his wife. She just wants to escape. She's like, I feel like I want to do something. But yeah, this is Cogs in the Machine, episode 8. I can't believe it's 8 already. But we're talking about how Dreamcast paved the way for Xbox. You guys know me, I'm the floor hugger. For full disclosure and transparency, to deal with this episode, or in tying with this episode, I have linked the Humble Bundle Dreamcast collection, and I am a Humble Bundle partner, so that money, it's whatever the affiliate split is. If you decide to buy it with that link, it will go to me for full transparency. I'm not trying to hide anything from you guys. I just figured if you want to play some classic Dreamcast games, which we are going to be talking about and looking at, because that's how we do it. Full transparency. I am in a partner, affiliate, whatever, and that link will benefit me.
Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff on Dreamcast. So I would highly recommend that collection. I don't even know what's in that collection, but I'm sure it has some bright spots in the Dreamcast library.
This one is kind of surprising. It has Crazy Taxi, Jet Set Radio, which makes the whole thing worth it. Nights into Dreams, which is another great one. If you've heard of Balan Wonderland, you've heard of Nights into Dreams. Or is it Wonder World? I don't know which one it is. Sega Bass Fishing.
Something like that.
Whatever.
Sega Bass Fishing, you know what? Like that was kind of a big deal back in the day. Like,
well, you watched me struggle today on Sea of Thieves. I'm kind of sore on fishing. Right?
Well, like the Sega Bass Fishing, it had a fishing rod controller for the Dreamcast.
I remember that.
Because I remember us when I first started working at GameStop, we still had Dreamcast stuff, and we had a bunch of the stupid fishing controllers that weren't selling because this was in 2005.
Yeah.
So
I bet you those things are worth so much now.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
In there is also Sonic's DX Adventure, and probably one of the classic is Space Channel 5 Part 2. So that's what's in that humble collection.
I don't know why, but I love Space Channel 5. It's like
they're so weird.
It's a weird rhythm game, but they were fun.
They really were. You guys know me, but you may not know my co-host, which is a gosh dang shame. You guys should know him by now. Introduce yourself, Trevor, for the people.
Yeah, so I'm Trevor. I do community PR and a whole bunch of other stuff at Winterborn. You can check us out at winterborngames.com, or you can check out the game we're working on, which is my background, Externus at externusgame.com. And yeah, we're hoping to release that this year, as long as cross our fingers, everything goes according to our plans.
Right. If you guys don't have it out by November for the Extra Life, we will be playing the demo on stream. I know that much. It's gonna be so much fun.
Absolutely, yeah.
I'm so excited.
Yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait for us to be able to get more out about it. But we're getting there. Slowly but surely, we are getting there.
You guys are just amazing. Make sure you guys tweet out the stream as well. I also have Pizzle Pack, T-Pain's free streamers pack going in the background. Tell me what you like, if you like the music. If not, next episode I won't be here, but if you do, then maybe we'll keep doing the copyright-free music in the background. So, Trevor, for those who don't know or were too young, like myself, in 2000, in 2000 I was in grade 1. So I was real young when the Dreamcast came out. What is
so it was
the Dreamcast?
So they had the best release date, which was 9/9/99.
Mm-hmm.
So how could you not take advantage of a date like that to release anything?
Right?
So
there's just certain days that are just got it.
Chakalaka.
Skyrim was another one, right?
Yeah, Skyrim 11/11/11. Those are like if you're not taking advantage of those sweet dates, because I remember those and I don't remember anything anymore. So Sega Dreamcast coming out 9/9/99. It was a system that I think even at the time that it launched, like I wasn't even paying attention to games on that level yet.
I was in preschool
Yeah.
or kindergarten.
Don't even tell me that. I don't. Um, I was 12. I was
Oh,
in middle school, so I would have been in middle
damn.
school. I didn't really like follow like games hardcore until probably like sophomore year of high school, maybe.
Same,
So it was still a
actually.
few years, still a few years before I was reading the magazines and like getting in on that level.
Yeah.
So
I
it
mean,
was one of those things where like I wasn't paying attention. Like the most I paid attention to Dreamcast was me walking into there was a toy store in our mall called Family Toy Warehouse. It was similar to a KB Toys, and they had the interactive demo unit. And I remember going in there and playing Sonic, and me wanting the Dreamcast. But I mean, as a dumb kid, I don't realize that hey, my parents can't really afford to get this right now. But
right?
so I did not own a Dreamcast at that point. I didn't own a Dreamcast until uh 2000. Well, actually 2005 when I started working at EB Games. But
Wow.
so yeah, it was and that was because there was a ton of game. We had a ton of stuff that was cheap, and I just bought a ton of like pretty much every cheap game that you can think of on that system at the
That,
time. So
that's the best way because some of those are such classics now.
yeah, like so I have like a ton of Dreamcast games just like sitting in a box somewhere in my basement right now.
Ooh,
So
that's gonna be fun when we
but
do collections.
yeah, I don't even know if I'm it's gonna be hard to find some of that stuff, but yeah, it's the Dreamcast was it was an interesting system. Um it ended up failing in a lot of ways, but it also it was kind of before its time kind of thing. I would say it was a system that it didn't have a Windows operating system on it, but it did have an operating system support behind it, which was Windows CE,
uh,
which allowed developers to easily develop games for the Dreamcast and for PC at the time, which was very new. It allowed uh, Dreamcast developers to use DirectX, which was the original namesake for the Xbox, being the Direct Xbox.
I did
Um,
not know that. That's
yeah, so that's why it's called the Xbox because it was the Direct Xbox. So
wow.
yeah, um, but the Dreamcast allowed developers to do that, and it was very much the bridge between PC games and Sega games right there. So
Hmm.
that's when you started to see actually a few Sega games come out for the PC, and that sort of thing. So that's kind of where it almost starts. This is like having that support from Microsoft on that is where Microsoft like literally like just dips their toe in the water of like, hey, maybe we'll see what games can do, what we can do to support a game project. Um, which I mean, really, it didn't help much
Yeah.
because the Dreamcast just didn't hit like I think a lot of people were waiting for the PlayStation 2,
Yeah.
which launched a year later. And a big thing that ended up happening with the Dreamcast is it was super easy to pirate stuff
It's
for the
so
Dreamcast.
easy to
It
get Dreamcast games.
it like literally you didn't have to have any. There was no copy protection. It
Hmm.
was just literally you burn a disc and it works.
Uh-huh.
So back in that day, you would usually have to get like a mod chip
Mhm.
and solder it in there for to actually modify a system. So not a lot of people did it because you didn't want to try to mod a system, screw it up, and then be out hundreds of dollars because you're an idiot.
Right?
So at least that's why I never modded a system because I'm not like I'm not technically challenged in that way. I can't. I'm not
Exactly.
I'm not good at doing stuff like that. So
And now there's
um,
just so many alternative. Like back then there wasn't, but
mm,
now there's just. I mean, emulators. The Dreamcast emulator is probably one of the best.
mhm.
Uh, yeah, actually, probably one of the better. emulators out there, because without fail, the Dreamcast games on emulator play amazing. Every single
Yeah.
one that I've played, at least. PlayStation, like Persona 4 has some graphical issues. Dolphin emulator for Wii and Wii U and all those games, there's always some kind of like weird issue, but that's been like faithful to the original, and it's amazing.
Yeah, no, well, I think a lot of that comes from the architecture behind the Dreamcast, and having that Windows CE compatibility, I think, is actually partially what helps keep those games alive, even if they're only in emulator form. So that's why you'll still see those games floating around, even if they're not the most legal way to obtain them. But there's a lot of those games where you just can't get legally anymore because they don't sell them.
We will talk about those, because that's a topic we're gonna have to look up, because there's tons.
Yeah, there's a lot. There's just a lot of good Dreamcast games that it had a lot of good games that just nobody ever played. Just because it was a small crowd that gathered towards Sega, and Sega was on their last legs. It was their last console. Everybody thought Sega would be out of business at this point. I mean, they're still going. They were smart enough. They were smart enough to pivot away from hardware, and go straight to being a third-party publisher.
And that was a weird time too, because that's right when like the Jaguar, it's 32-bit, like, or 64, whatever the Jaguar was, it failed, and the 2000s were weird for consoles.
And Chakalaka saying the first console with online and web browser. I don't know if it was
but it was
I want to say there was some sort of, but it was the first one to really tackle that. I want to say like
Phantasy Star.
I want to say
got its thing.
Oh yeah, Phantasy Star Online was big, for the original Dreamcast. Yeah, it might have been the first with online, but I could have swore like maybe, I don't know if it was the Saturn or something like that might have tried to do it, and because I swear there was something that tried it and it just didn't work well. It was I would say it's the first one to do it with any success.
Yes,
for sure.
Because and Chakalaka, or anybody that's listening to this that is like me, a little younger but also does not know the gaming history, it's not like we have today where you can just, like, my consoles aren't wired, my PC is. You had to physically plug in and then either hope that nobody else was using the phone, depending on your dial-up connection, and if you were really rich, you might have had something faster, but it was a different time to just play online. And the fact that
this wasn't like in 99, not a lot of people had like cable internet at this point. I'm trying to remember when I got cable internet, but it wasn't much later. It was probably around 2000, because I had it by the time that I had the original Xbox. So, but I got the original Xbox late. I would say I'd probably got high-speed internet probably around 2001, 2002-ish.
That's great. I think that's when a lot of people got it, because it wasn't ridiculously expensive.
Yeah, I think that's about the time when it was becoming more prevalent, especially in the United States and probably Canada, because we're pretty much tied together, even though we're separate countries. At least culturally, if that makes sense.
It does, because whatever happens with y'all happens with us.
Yeah, so it makes a lot of sense for it to happen around that time. But I know, like, original Dreamcast, had I been playing it, I would have used my sweet phone connection to dial in and try to play some online games with it.
And go, Mom, get off the phone! I'm trying to play games.
But for
these are just like
Chocolate is saying the Xbox was the first to have a built. He's saying that it's the first Xbox was the first to have it built. I think the Dreamcast adapter was built into it. Pretty sure it was built into it.
There's a modem. It's a removable.
Yeah. Okay.
What the hell? Removable modem. Original for Asian Japan model was 3.6 kilobytes per second. Models released after September had a 56K modem, so it was
Okay, yeah.
removable. And broadband adapters were available once you could replace. Remember was it the Sega Master System that had like you could stack two of them on top of each other? Man, gaming was weird.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, and Sega was very much on the forefront of experimenting with their systems and
Hmm.
experimenting with like weird ways to use their systems. Like going back to the Genesis, you had the Sega CD add-on. You had the Sega Channel, which was literally connecting it up to cable and uh, essentially downloading games through your cable provider. Like it was weird and way ahead of its time. I mean,
Hmm.
it was basically like Game Pass in like 1996 with a Sega Genesis or whatever year it was. It was probably even earlier than that, but
Yeah,
Sega was very much on the forefront of like, hey, let's just get weird with this and just like try new things, and it ended up where they were ahead of their time, and it just
I think
it didn't necessarily work out for them, unfortunately.
well, maybe not at the time, but I mean, look at us now.
Mhm.
Look at Dreamcast guy. We're talking about like let's just go through some of the accessories. VMU units. There was keyboards.
So
There was microphones.
yeah, just thinking about the VMU, like the VMU was such a cool idea.
Hmm.
It was a memory card that had its own screen, and you could play little mini games on it. Because like some games, like pretty sure for like Sonic, you could raise your chows
Yeah,
on the
you could.
VMU.
Yep, I remember
Like
that.
like that stuff was like really cool and really innovative at the time. It just not enough people played the Dreamcast to really take advantage of it, unfortunately. But like Sega was trying to innovate. I mean, they were trying to do something different from Nintendo at the time, for sure. They were still going with that, and they weren't trying to. They very much pivoted, and it's something Nintendo ends up doing
Hmm.
in everything they do too. So, which has almost killed Nintendo a couple times.
Yes.
So I mean, you know, we look at the GameCube with reverence, but the
Hmm.
GameCube almost killed Nintendo.
Yeah.
Um, and honestly, if the Wii had not sold as well as it did, Nintendo would not be here today. Uh,
That's just
so
like Xbox. How close before Phil Spencer came into, we were like, let's. This system is almost over. What's up, Fame? What's up, Baron? How you guys doing tonight? I
yeah,
think
absolutely, it's
because the Dreamcast was so far ahead, that's why we can look at it with such fondness. Because it's like, could you imagine
mhm.
if they hadn't, even if it had been successful, but if they hadn't done the weird stuff that they did, what would happen to gaming today? Because I mean, we can go, yeah, back through these like a light gun, the microphone. I mean, people bring up Seaman all the time with the microphone stuff, the typing of
Seaman
the
was
dead.
so dumb but so cool.
It's
Yeah,
so dumb, but they did
yeah, it
so
is.
much that we just like arcade sticks and twin sticks that made it like there's just so much stuff that they did, and the canceled
Yeah,
accessories.
you can tell in there that that Sega still kept to its arcade roots a lot too.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of their games were ports of their arcade games that
Mm-hmm.
were still going strong, at least in Japan. I would say at that time there were still probably some pretty big arcades in the U.S. Before it kind of took a downturn for a bit. We're starting to
Endless
see
arcades.
we're starting to see that. Well, at least pre-COVID, we were starting to see that come back with like barcades and stuff like that, doing different business models that kind
Mm-hmm.
of change the game in current days. Hopefully, we'll still see some of that post all the COVID stuff. Uh,
Hopefully.
but yeah, it's Sega. Sega was awesome.
Yeah.
It just didn't have that hooks into people like Nintendo did. I think, and that hurt them.
Which is,
Um,
you know what? It's everything in hindsight. I kind of glad that the console failed and they moved into games because they publish and develop some of the best games right now. At least
yeah,
now.
I think in the long run it was good for them to get out of the hard because hardware is just so expensive to do because you have to put a lot of time into research and development. So you're
Mhm.
losing money right on the beginning. When you launch a console, usually it's at a loss.
Mhm.
Most companies launch their consoles at a loss, and they get that money back through accessories and through game sales.
Mhm.
So if you're not getting those accessories and game sales, you're not going to make money back on it.
It must have
Um,
been so easy to make money on accessories back then because you would have to buy memory cards, the different. Remember Mad Cats, those awful controllers, but are so. I
yeah.
mean, Mad Cats is still kind of around, but not really anymore. Man.
Well, yeah. I know they took a turn for the better at some point and
Mhm.
actually started putting out quality, at least more quality products than they had in the past. But I would say during this era,
Yep.
Mad Catz stuff was garbage.
So that's player two.
In Yeah, yeah, in the worst of ways. All their accessories during this time was not good. Um, but that's what you
Mhm.
had to do. They
And
were
to this
sometimes you had
day,
to get a cheap controller.
homebrew games are still available for the and that's the thing that drove me crazy about PlayStation. Now reversing their decision was there's so many homebrew games. I mean, if you're doing homebrew, you don't need the PlayStation Store, but sometimes I don't know who knows. There's so many homebrew games that are just there that you're cutting off. Don't do that,
Yeah,
but they learned.
Demi shouting out the memory card again.
Mhm.
Love being able to play it. Yeah. And Chakalaka bring up a good point there. That the Dreamcast is the best because it uses hard arcade hardware. It had the best versions of arcade games such as Marvel vs. Capcom 1 and 2. And as a matter of fact, Marvel vs. Capcom 1 had a console exclusive feature of 2v2. Yeah. Yeah, like it was doing the best with Sega's arcade stuff for sure.
Mhm.
And that was Sega's strength at the time. What were their arcade ports,
Yeah.
and everything. So
And
yeah,
then
it was and it
fact,
was it was
oh, excuse me, the fact that it came with two, no, four ports standard.
mhm.
That was cool.
Yeah, yeah, because at this point Sony wasn't doing four port standard. Only Nintendo was.
Mhm.
So I think that's probably why they went with the four ports for the Dreamcast. Because they had a lot of good multiplayer games. They were propped up by their sports games. Because this was like the 2K series that everybody was into at the time. All the Sega Sports 2K games,
Mhm.
NBA 2K and NFL 2K. They
Mhm.
were super popular. Uh,
And we'll get into the games list in a sec, because I know some of you are
mhm.
probably thinking, "Well, this game. What about this game?" Uh,
Yeah,
the predecessor was Saturn. God, that was a
yeah.
big boy.
Saturn didn't do well either. Uh,
Really, it only ran for 2 years.
yeah, yeah. The Saturn was just so expensive. I think is what killed it at the time. Um, I
Right.
also think the Saturn is the one that they just like shadow dropped, like at E3. I want to say,
I wouldn't
if I
be
remember.
announced live at
They
E3 in '95 and available the same day. Yeah. Oh my God,
Yeah,
that's
that's what I
balls.
thought. Yeah, yeah. So I just remember, yeah, Saturn. They were just like, "Hey guys, this is the Sega Saturn, and guess what? You can buy it today." And
That's
it was like, "What?"
balls. Oh my God.
But then it was like $500. Uh,
Mm.
so
And for inflation, that's
yeah,
probably like $800 today, 900.
yeah, it didn't do well. It didn't do well at
Jesus.
all.
And then the next console, quote unquote, they had was the Mega Drive Mini. I forgot about that. That came out in 2019. If I'm not mistaken, that was a piece of crap that most people did not like. Not
Yeah,
as bad as the Sony Mini, but it wasn't great. But it had Echo the Dolphin. Like, come on, you can't beat that.
can't go wrong with Echo. But yeah, so the final console in their lineup here was the Dreamcast. We can get into some of the games. I mean, obviously we talked about the arcade stuff.
Hmm.
Fighting games were huge. I think for the Dreamcast, if you were a fan of certain genres, I think you might have been into the Dreamcast more than other systems because of that. So I mean, if you were a big fighting game fan, you're probably into the Dreamcast a bit more because a ton of fighting games came out for the Dreamcast. So you had your Marvel versus Capcoms. You had Soul Calibur was big on the Dreamcast. So I mean, it's just a ton of great stuff came out for the Dreamcast.
Let's look at
And
60 of the best Dreamcast games. So most of
yeah,
these you're gonna have to talk about because I know very few of them.
so there's actually probably a few that I am probably not gonna know, uh, because I kind of know the more popular stuff for Dreamcast, but like Elemental Gimmick Gear, have no idea,
I feel like I've
not a
seen
clue.
this art. Chalklock says, and it pissed off a lot of. Sorry, I'm drooling over here. I'm trying to eat. Retail partners that
Re-
didn't get a Saturn at launch, and it pissed off a lot of developers that didn't have games ready for launch. I mean, hell yeah, I could understand
yeah,
that.
yeah, Sega kind of burned a lot of bridges there. Um, Test Drive, yeah, Dead or Alive was also originally on the
MDK2.
Dreamcast.
This series, the MDK series, is weird, man. Like weird. But so if you
Yeah,
like Psychonauts, no, not even the same realm. But MDK is weird. Oh man, does that
Outrigger.
not look like standard Time Crisis game or something? Oh, it is a Time Crisis like
Yeah,
game.
I was gonna say, yeah. Hey, they had that gun. They had to use it for a reason,
Those games,
Tech
bro.
Romancer.
That sounds
All right.
kinky. Oh, it's a bot fighting game. Okay.
Yeah.
Buzz Lightyear of Star. I feel like this was probably a multiple port game.
Oh yeah. No doubt.
Oh, look at that brain. His head
Super
is
Magnetic Mia. Yeah, there's quite a few of these games that I do not remember. Alien Front
yeah
Online, I slightly remember.
with real time
Uh,
voice chat.
yeah, that was definitely a thing. Yeah.
Could you imagine trying to sell that as your game, like a features your game real time voice chat? I'd be like, now you make me never want to buy your game.
What? No, that was a big thing then, though. I mean, you got to think like there had not been any sort of voice chatting with people while they're playing a game. Like that wasn't a thing. Even on PC really that much at that time. Like you didn't get a lot of it.
That's
So
true.
uh, it's crazy to see that, but yeah, it was definitely a big thing, and it was like probably one of the biggest selling points of Xbox Live when that came out was getting the puck that you plugged into the controller with the headset to
Yeah,
be able to talk to people while you were playing. So
that's true. So
D-
D2, I've heard
I
of this.
kind of yeah, I kind of remember it, but I don't really
It's like
remember it.
a survival horror game. Coincidentally,
Yeah.
was for the longest time one of the hardest games to port over to emulators because it came in 4 discs that had 1.1 gigabyte each, and it would require you in the console to swap the disc, and you couldn't save between swaps, so they had to. I think it's working okay now, but it took a very long time for this one to be ported like normally and well. Oh, set
Makes
in
sense.
Canadian wilderness, my home. I live in the wilderness. Canada is just like a bunch of polar bears surrounded by like 5 hockey rinks. That's all we are.
Makes sense. Makes
Fur
sense.
fur
Firefighters,
fighters.
I somewhat remember that.
Sounds like a furry convention kind of game.
Uh, it's what, yeah.
Does that
Ooga
not?
Booga?
That looks like a Crash ripoff.
It might be. I honestly don't remember Ooga Booga.
What is that? Rippin'
Yeah,
Riders. Oh, that's
Rippin'
SSX
Riders. That
Tricky.
it sounds familiar. Yeah, basically it's like a or like a 1080 snowboarding.
Yeah.
Uh, Bangai-O.
Mm-hmm.
I remember Bangai-O.
Classic.
Mm-hmm. Bangai-O
Typing
was
of
good
the
stuff.
Dead.
Typing of the Dead. Typing of the Dead is still the shit.
If you
Uh,
guys I feel like I'm gonna do a retrospective on these. Not the second one. The second one is kind of janky, ironically. The first game. If you love like the ham-fisted, cheesy dialogue of Resident
Oh yeah,
Evil,
they're terribly bad, but in like such a fun way. Like the House of the
so
Dead
good.
games, and then the actual typing counterparts where
Mhm.
it's like it's teaching you how to type just with bad dialogue and killing zombies.
Mhm.
So totally worth it.
Fame and Chocolaga said Crazy Taxi is fire. Crazy Taxi is fire. And if you,
Crazy Taxi, yeah.
oh god, want to play Crazy Taxi on PC, like I said at the beginning of the show, below is linked the Humble Bundle Dreamcast Collection. I am a Humble partner, so I will be getting whatever the percent split is for that. But if you want to play the Dreamcast Collection, we went through the dreams. We went through. I went through my dreams. We went through the games on there. Some classic titles. I think there's 5 or 6 of them. So
Yeah,
go have some fun. But yeah,
it's good
Typing of the
stuff.
Dead, so good. And I just love, like, their backpacks are little Dreamcasts.
Or just Dreamcast, yeah.
And the Dreamcast controller keyboards that they had.
Yeah,
Uh,
I remember those.
Speaking of multiple discs, Shenmue. Did Shenmue 2 also come to Dreamcast, or was that an Xbox? Trevor would have to answer that. I don't know.
Shenmue 2, I think it released on Dreamcast in Japan, but I don't think it released on Dreamcast in the United States. It was only on Xbox in the US, as far as I remember. Virtua Tennis was big back then, actually.
I mean,
So
the whole. Sorry, guys, I'm in the middle of eating. I was trying to speed it up, but the whole Virtua series was huge.
yeah,
I mean, it kind of died, so like Killer Instinct and Mortal Kombat could take over, but Virtua, beautiful and blocky.
hmm yeah, 18-wheeler. I remember that.
If these games are fun, like I play American Truck
Yeah,
Simulator all the time. Fun.
yeah. This was more, I would say, in the vein of like a Cruis'n USA,
Another killer
except
game.
18-wheelers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and here we go, like NBA 2K1, the NBA 2K, and
The fact that it's
NFL
all one on
2K,
it.
right? But those were the games that brought people to the Dreamcast yard, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
No. Mm-hmm.
Toy Commander, I do not remember at all.
Okay. This reminds me of, and I feel like I'm the only one that remembers this. It was a movie about the toy army men.
You talking about Small Soldiers?
I think it might have been Small Soldiers, but it was like a 90s, the little green army men, and they were, I don't remember what the premise was, but like my brain has like flashes to that every once in a while. And I'm like, is that real or did I imagine that?
Well, there were a bunch of like the Army Men games too. So
It was a movie. Small Hydro Thunder. Ooh. You know, one of my favorite PlayStation 2 games is Splashdown Rides Gone Wild. And I love it so much. It's awful. You're right,
yeah,
Small
Hydro
Soldiers.
Thunder.
That's what
Yeah,
it was.
yeah, I thought so.
Like, I feel like it
Hydro
was.
Thunder.
Oof. I love games like these. They're kind of not great.
Not now, but they were back then.
Yeah. Naple Tale.
I do not know about Napletail. That's
Anyone who's read Women in Gaming, 100 Professionals of Play. Okay, don't care. Oh, the team was made primarily of women.
Huh.
Oh,
Nice.
I still don't think I'd have, like, yay for that. I don't know. This doesn't look like, I hate platformers like this. I don't know if I could go
Yeah,
back and play that.
right. Not yeah. Oh yeah, I forgot about Bomberman Online.
And Trevor almost had a heart attack last episode when I said I'd never played a Bomberman game either.
Yeah, what's wrong with you?
I don't know. There's so much. I mean, still haven't played Resident
It's
Evil
okay.
4, so.
That's
That
true.
one.
That's true. That's a sin of sins.
I mean, I
Cannon
played
Spike. I don't know about
Dragon
that one.
Age Inquisition like 6 times, but I can't play Mass Effect 2 so many times, dude. Oh, this is like
Yeah, I
that
never played
weird
Cannon Spike.
3D. It's not as there was that game we were looking at when we were talking about Raven Software. It was like the really top down but 3D, and I can't remember what that game
Yeah,
is.
yeah, I know what you're talking about. I can't think of it either though. Choo Choo Rocket. That
I
that
remember this
was a
one.
big Sega game. Yeah.
Oh, Chocolaka. When I bought a used Dreamcast, it came with a working copy of NBA 2K1 disc inside. Wow,
Nice.
that was
House of the
lit.
Dead 2. I mean,
Scared the
they
crap out of
were
me.
terrible games, but not terrible. Like they were fun and cheesy. Like they were just cheesy games
Mm-hmm.
back in the day. I mean, they're cheesy light gun arcade games. So
Exactly.
yeah, they're fun. Like I mean, if I were to walk into an arcade now and see House of the Dead, I would still play it. So
Hell, that'd probably be the first game I go to.
yeah,
Like, hell yeah. I
Resident Evil
don't
3.
remember. Because is this Resident Evil 3, or is this
Yes,
something else? Oh, okay.
it's Resident Evil 3. Yeah, it was just a port.
Okay. Because, I mean, Resident Evil 3. Unreal
Unreal
Tournament.
Tournament. Yeah, the first time. I don't know if I'm pretty sure it was just because of the online factor. I'm pretty sure it was just this was its first time on consoles. I think it came to PS2 later,
I
but
wouldn't be surprised. This is,
yeah.
if you, man, Unreal Tournament, it's not the mega giant it used to be, but it's still for free. It's a good time.
Metropolis Street Racer. I'm pretty sure that was a precursor to Project Gotham Racing, if I remember right.
Dang.
I think it was. I could be wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure it was.
Well, you know better than me. Space Channel 5. Mm, the weirdest
Space Channel
game.
5. Hey, weird ass rhythm game. Let's go
I'll
to the
take it.
beat and play some Space Channel 5.
I think that's why I love games like Spiritfarer that I've been playing religiously right now has like a little rhythm section in there where you can grow your vegetables. I love games that have all that like cheesy stuff from the past and future because it's just like not only is it a great gameplay mix up, but it's just like this is. I remember when this was be the whole game. This is nice. This is fun.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy Taxi. I didn't even remember there was a second one.
There's a third one too.
Ugh. Milking that franchise, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my. This
Go
seems like
Bleed.
my type
Yeah, I
of
don't know about
game.
that one.
Cult followings, of course.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes
It's,
sense.
you know what? This looks like a spin off of Clock Tower.
Yeah.
We're trying to go 3D. NFL. Who's that on the
Mm-hmm.
cover? Who's 84? What is it? Is that the Raven? Can't see. Resident Evil 2.
32.
Just, oh my
They
god.
play the
See,
remake.
he does not look that. He looks so much more intimidating now.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, it
he's
does.
so small because Lady Dimitrescu is a big, big bitch. Berserkers.
Sort of a berserk.
Ironically,
Yeah.
that's what the 3D show looks like. The 3D show is done poorly. Like they messed it up. Street Fighter
Third Strike,
3.
Street Fighter. Yeah, that was a big one at the time.
Street Fighter. I don't know any Street Fighter that hasn't done
Grandia.
stop. See these? I
Yeah,
think
Grandia too. Yeah.
these games kind of like people don't hold the relevance for them because they're still great games. Kind of like
Yeah,
they just
they've
age
just,
poorly.
but I'm pretty sure they've just re-released them on I want to say maybe Switch.
I feel like
Recently, I'm pretty sure.
they just need to. If you're gonna do it, remake them, remaster them even. Because this,
Yeah.
I mean, It's such an old
I'm pretty sure they
franchise.
have
But you
been
could,
to an extent, but I'm not 100%. I haven't actually played the Grandias. Uh, although I've always heard great things. Yeah, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2 was on
I'm surprised.
Dreamcast.
Man, the Dreamcast had so much.
Hell yeah. San Francisco Rush 2049. Those games
That's
are
a,
great.
I've never heard of these.
Really, because well, they did the original San Francisco Rush. I want to say was on N64.
Hmm.
Um, and it was just it's the standard like old school racing game. Like it was great. And then they did the 2049, which was a futuristic standard racing game.
Of course. Wow.
And
I've
then
never heard of
yeah,
that.
Dead or Alive too.
Hmm. The only DOA I've ever played is 5. And then it pissed me
Wow,
off on PlayStation
I
with
could see that.
the microtransactions, I think.
Yeah, that's man. 4 was their last good one because it didn't have any of that shit. Um,
I'm just gonna
I
check
just
something. I just want to see.
which and 4 Dead or Alive 4 was a 360 exclusive.
So
Uh,
Dead or Alive 6 is the newest one.
yeah, it's
So,
the latest. Yeah,
oh, I might have to pull this to the side and scroll all the way down. But I just wanted to see how, because I think the last time I checked, there was almost $3,000 worth
yeah,
of
because it's
DLC.
it's free to play, but they've added
Not
a
free to
fuck ton of
enjoy,
costumes and yeah, it's like so much like I'd rather just pay $60 for a version of the game that doesn't have
right?
the microtransactions. To be completely honest,
I mean,
uh,
I have a whole feelings on which games should be free to play or which games should be would be a great like the Madden games, great live service games. They don't need to be coming out every single year.
yeah,
Man, Dead or Alive, you butchered that franchise. Holy crap.
yeah, they did. Yeah, that's really all. But like Dead or Alive 2 was great
I
back in
mean,
the day.
look at that. That's a tight booty. Of course it was great.
And they
No,
ended up making like a somewhat a better version of Dead or Alive 2 came out on Xbox, original Xbox.
dang.
And then original Xbox got Dead or Alive 3 and Xbox 360 got Dead or Alive 4. Samba de Amigo
By the Sonic
was
team,
a
man.
really it was a really great rhythm game. Which you had you had the sambas. Had the sambas.
Wow. They came out with
Heck
so much.
yeah. It's good
I was
shit.
about to say, this would be I was just reading the first line. This would be a great game if you love Parappa the Rapper. Parappa the Rapper, man, that game is hard as shit.
Mhm. Yeah, it was.
Even the
And
re-release, I was
Chakalaka
like,
saying Chakalaka saying the Dead or Alive movie was all right. He's
oh,
right. It was okay.
if you guys want us to dive
Yeah,
into like video game movies and stuff, we will because
we'll get there.
oh,
Project Justice. I don't know about that one.
oh, it's another
That's a
fighter.
fighting game.
Oh, it's
Yeah, I
from the
mean,
Rival School series. So,
okay, that makes sense. I'm guessing a lot of this like top 20 is going to be like fighting games.
probably SNK
Yeah,
versus
Capcom versus
Capcom.
SNK. Yeah, yeah, I was always
Rayman.
more of an SNK guy.
Interesting that Rayman would
Like,
be there. But Rayman was great.
Rayman 2 was pretty popular back in the day, so
So good. Code.
good
Hey,
Veronica.
remake this one. Don't ignore
I'm
Veronica.
pretty sure Code Veronica was exclusive to the Dreamcast originally, and then it eventually came out on PlayStation 2 as Code Veronica X. But I
First
can't
in the
remember
series,
exactly what the X
not
stood
the
for.
debut on the PS2. Yeah,
Yep, that's what I thought. Yeah.
seriously, this
So yeah,
needs to be remade.
yeah, I'm surprised. I wouldn't be surprised to see it remade.
I mean, after they break my heart with Lady Dimitrescu, they need to give me some kind of redemption with this. Jojo.
JoJo's. And again, another fighting game.
Yeah,
Obviously based off of the anime.
great. Seriously,
Which,
the anime is great. It's on Netflix.
yeah, I haven't seen it, so I can't comment to that. But and there's your
Crazy.
OG Crazy Taxi.
I don't know one person that doesn't know video games that does not know Crazy Taxi, or at least I should say, who is old enough, like my age, to
Mm-hmm.
know Crazy Taxi.
Crazy Taxi was a ton of fun. I mean, that's just what it
Hmm.
was. And even the Hitman, even the Simpsons version of Crazy Taxi was awesome. The Road Rage,
Hmm.
uh, it was a ton of fun.
Oh,
Even though it
another
was clearly
series.
a ripoff.
Of
Soul
course.
Calibur, yeah.
Another. I don't know. I haven't played the latest one, but I know there was some controversy with the latest one. The latest one was a
I
lot of
honestly,
like tie-in. There was The Witcher.
yeah, I don't remember, to be
Yeah,
honest. Like it just came and went,
it really, yeah.
which is a shame because like I remember Soul Calibur 2 being the big deal because it had the exclusive character on each console, whereas you had the GameCube had Link, the Xbox had Spawn, and then the PlayStation had Heihachi from Tekken.
Wow,
Uh,
Spawn. Just a weird character to whip out there.
yeah, it's weird that that's the Xbox character, even though there wasn't like a Spawn game or anything. It's just
Hmm.
it just happened to be the character that they put on Xbox. The only one that actually, well, I guess the Tekken one kind of makes sense, but it wasn't a Sony studio.
Yeah,
But like the only actual like system specific person really was Link,
and that was,
and
yeah,
and I'm also pretty sure he was the best tie-in character too.
of course,
So
of course.
that's just how it ended up. But yeah, Soul Calibur was a good faithful arcade port. And then Chakalaka also saying, also Code Veronica was originally intended to be a numbered entry in the franchise, especially since it was originally signed to be a Dreamcast exclusive. But apparently some shenanigans happened with Sony.
It wouldn't be the first time.
Yeah,
I mean,
Sony's all
look
about
at
them shenanigans.
one of the most recent and biggest ones where you could see it was supposed to be something else. Oh my god, I just played it last year. Final Fantasy 15. You could tell
Hmm.
that was not meant to be what it was. What the original story was like, it was supposed to be a tie-in with 13. It was supposed to be like one of the Cydia games.
Yeah, it was supposed to be Versus 13 is what it
Yeah,
was supposed to be originally. Yeah.
and I mean, we see that stuff all the time. I'm happy that they didn't pull like Amazon did and cancel things. I'm happy they just put it
Mm.
out because that game is fantastic. Ooh,
Fantasy Star Online.
oh,
This was 1 and 2.
credit card required.
Yeah, yeah, because there was a subscription. I mean, it was just like any other MMO back then, where there
Yeah,
was a sub required. Not all of them require subs anymore,
it's true.
but yeah,
Blue Stinger.
I slightly remember Blue Stinger, but not. I never played it, but it kind of like I don't know, the cover
Right?
like brings something in my lizard brain recognizes it for
Something way
some
back
reason.
there. And Chocolate, thank you for hanging out. You just killing it and with some information tonight. Thank you.
Cool, he's full of that knowledge.
Power Stone 2, you did mention this earlier on. Power Stone 1, Power Stone 2.
Yeah, they came out with a collection of Power Stone games. I can't remember if that was actually was it Xbox 360? I'm gonna look up Power Stone collection.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it was PSP. That's right.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So the portable, yeah, they
PSP is so
actually
good.
did a collection on PSP. But that's the last time we've seen anything really Power Stone related, which is kind of a shame
Yeah, I
because
mean,
those games were a ton of fun.
we can definitely do an episode on games that died. Not died, or franchises that died, or so others can run, and some that should have died. Shenmue. Speaking of Shenmue.
Yeah, you know what? Like Shenmue,
for its time, was revolutionary.
Yeah, like Shenmue was really cool at the time. Like it was very, very revolutionary. It was basically, I mean, the problem with it is that it needed to evolve, and it did, but not from the same developer.
Mm-hmm.
It became like Yakuza is basically a Shenmue blueprint,
Yep.
except they actually evolved the series and made it good. Like it's, I don't want to say made it good, but I'm gonna say made it good.
I
Because
mean, it did make it
if
good.
you go back and yeah, I mean, if you go back and try to play Shenmue now,
I
it's
played 5
very,
minutes and I couldn't. It's like, oh my
it's
god.
not, it's not great. There's just, yeah, like, just go play Yakuza. Just go play all those.
Honestly, Yakuza,
Yeah.
the story is more involved, and I love what they do where they'll give you recaps in the games, because I'm like,
Hmm.
sometimes I usually play them one right after the other, but I played 2 months ago, and now I have them going back to play three, and it's like I don't remember what happened. But man,
Right.
those games
Yeah,
are so good.
but yeah, Shenmue was really cool at the time because of how unique it was and the way it told its story for sure.
Hmm.
But the fact that it was supposed to be like a 20-part story, and we're just now getting like to the third one,
Hmm.
and then the third one didn't evolve any from the second. I
I
think that's
doubt.
a bit of a problem. I don't think we're gonna see another one,
No,
unfortunately.
they would have
Which
to.
I feel bad for anybody that's a big fan of the series,
I think
but
even if you were a big fan of the series, you gotta realize and look at what happened with Shenmue 3 and just be like, you know what? Gotta take those rose tinted glasses off, because damn.
oh yeah, it's it didn't age well, unfortunately. And there's going to be games that are going to be like that. Some games remain timeless, and some just do not age well, and it sits into that second category of not aging well.
And
So
you guys know, on my channel I do retrospectives, and I never hold that against most games. But since Shenmue did have a recent release and re-released onto newer consoles, I can judge it on that. The
it's
new game
tough.
came out 2 years ago. I can judge it on that. It hasn't aged well.
No, not one bit.
Oh, there's no. But we know
There's
Marvel
no
wins
boss
Capcom.
art. But yeah, it's Marvel versus Capcom. I mean, these were like Marvel versus Capcom 2 was like so popular and that it was hard to get at a certain point.
Hmm.
I mean, if I'm sure if you wanted to get it now, it's still probably hard to get.
Oh yeah.
If you want an actual physical disc, I know at one point uh, the the disc at GameStop was like on PS2 was like 70 or $80 for a used copy because it was so rare.
Oh yeah.
So, and that's in the United States. I mean, that means it was like $3,000 Canadian.
Yeah.
Uh,
Exactly.
that means it was probably like $120 Canadian or something like that. But still,
Yeah, that's
that's
crazy.
that's a lot for a game, especially years after it had come out. But that's how rare it was to find. I worked at GameStop for 6 years, and I maybe only saw a copy of it twice in that
Wow.
time. So it
Um,
was not something that a lot of people traded in.
yeah, some games you just gotta kind of hold on to. Uh,
Hmm.
Chocolate asks if Shenmue was the first modern open world game. No. Uh, Super Mario, 1996, 64 would be
Yeah,
the
yeah,
first open world. I mean, Ocarina of Time,
kind of.
98.
Yeah, Ocarina. Yeah, yeah. I would say Ocarina is probably. I would call that more open world than Mario. I'd say.
Yeah. For
Just
the
because
time,
with Mario,
Mario
you're.
seems so open world.
Yeah, yeah,
Banjo Kazooie, I'm on a list. Banjo Kazooie, Donkey Kong. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of
yeah.
more modern open worlds. Because Shenmue 1, did it say when it came out?
Shenmue. That'd be 99. Pretty sure it came
99.
out with the system.
Okay,
It was either with or it was very close to launch. So it was either 99 or 2000. If it wasn't at launch, then it was very close.
yeah. It's saying here in the what is an open world that Shenmue was the originator of the open city subgenre, though.
Yeah, okay, I could see that.
Yeah. But most of the games, I mean, took the ones I just read took place in worlds. Think of Assassin's Creed, not Yakuza.
Yeah.
Also says Marvel vs. Capcom 2 it was my main favorite fighter on the Dreamcast.
It was for a lot of people. I mean, it was definitely one of the selling points of the system for sure.
Yep.
Ooh,
Red.
Rez.
Wasn't
Rez is still good. They just did a
VR?
remake. Yeah, with VR.
Yes. I watched Game Grumps play this. I remember this. Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, Rez Infinity, I think,
Yeah, something
was the
like that.
newest one. Yeah.
I
Yeah,
mean,
Rez was good stuff. Jet Set Radio.
the classic.
Absolutely, yeah.
The class. This is in the Humble Bundle too, so the classic Jet Set Radio. I mean, cell shading. I'm not gonna say that it never gets old. It does, especially if it's done wrong. Man, this game still looks good and still plays good.
Yeah, it's just fun.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't know
no ifs, ands, or
anybody
buts about it. It's fun.
who's played this and has a bad thing to say, even if you're playing it now. And there's
Yeah, I know there's
so
actually an indie game that I've seen some footage of that looks real similar. That definitely has the vibe, like, because you're definitely on like skates. I just can't remember what it's called, but it's
it's
due
gonna
out
hit you
sometime
in like
next year.
3 in the morning again when you're sleeping.
Yeah, like I can't remember what it's called, but it's an indie game. I've seen it advertised in a few different like indie boards and stuff that I pay attention to because I'm also an indie dev.
Yeah,
So
you
I
gotta pay
just can't remember
attention.
what it's called, but it looks really cool.
And takes this as somebody who, for a very long time, all I was playing like Splashed on Rides Gone Wild, BMX Downhill Domination. I was playing Rockstar's awful roller skating game. Like all I played for a while was sports games. And this is technically not a sports game, but it kind of is because it's got a sport in it. But man, oof, this game is so good and holds up too.
Sonic Adventure 2.
You know what? I actually like this game because I know a lot of the Sonic games are like hot garbage, but this one, I mean, it's not great, but it's good.
I think there's a camp where you either like the 3D Sonic games or you don't like the 3D Sonic games. So I don't know which one I stand in.
It depends on the
to
game.
be completely honest. Yeah. I don't know if I've played Adventure 2. I've played Adventure.
I mean,
I know I own Adventure 2 somehow, somewhere.
I was about to say,
I
we've
just don't
just
know if
talked
I've
about
ever sat
how
down and
easy
played
it
it.
is to pirate them.
I
Technically,
know
it's not
I know
pirating.
I own it. I own it on like Steam or something somewhere.
Oh, probably.
I just don't know if I've ever sat down and played it. So I know I've played the first one.
I think it is definitely a case by case basis because this is great, but like the Sonic Storybook series, which there was only one, there was supposed to be 5 of them, awful. I think Sonic is a case by case basis, and and then we know from Balan. I don't know why I'm getting so many Balan suggestions on YouTube lately, but it's like, here, watch some Balan Wonderland reviews. We know that Team Sonic, it's not necessarily their fault because the 2 main people that created Sonic made that game, so
yeah.
And they made Nights into Dreams, which is a fairly good game too, which I'm mystified by.
So sometimes it just doesn't work. You know, it's like
it's true.
Game development's hard, and like, you know,
I feel like
somebody just didn't
Square push them.
Yeah, it's hard to say. Quake 3. We talked a bit about Quake before.
I feel like not right now, because most of the games that are coming out now have already been signed off, or they're just like touching stuff up. But maybe in the next 3-4 to 6 years, we're going to start seeing the consequences of COVID during game development. And it's going to be interesting what these next couple games look like.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, Icharuga.
I was like, how the hell do I say that?
Yeah, Icharuga, yeah. It's like a top-down. It's a shmup, like a.
bullet hell.
Yep, exactly. It is the bullet hell. Like it's
Oh,
like it is the game you think of when you get the bullet hell games. That's for sure.
we should get Trevor to play that and watch him just lose
Oh.
his shit.
Yeah, I'd be terrible at it. I'm not good at those games, but I appreciate them. I'm just not good at them.
Same with fighting games for me. Not good at them.
Yeah, I'm the same with fighting games too. I'm not good at fighting games, so
It is
that's why I
Balan
tend to stay away from them.
Oh, but everybody says Wonderland. Okay. I mean, it hasn't earned my respect to say its name properly, so.
Yeah, I'm good never playing that game. I've heard enough.
Even for morbid curiosity, I don't think I ever could. And I'll play I played Aquaman for the GameCube.
Yeah. Mark of the Wolves, Fatal Fury. Can't go wrong with the SNK classics. I've always, like, out of fighting games series, I've always I've always been more of a King of Fighters guy. As far as like 2D fighters. So Fatal Fury is kind of in that SNK world, so I'm definitely always down for those.
If you have Prime, Amazon has almost the full SNK library for free.
So, actually, not anymore.
They
that
took
ended.
off a bunch.
Yeah. They're not on there, but they did for a while. They did have them up there for a long time.
Go to GOG. Or if you want, I'll try to find some on Humble Bundle and post that in there, because those games, especially King of Fighters.
Yeah, I love King of Fighters. I would say King of Fighters like 98 through 2000 are great.
So. I played 2000. It's banging.
Yeah. Ooh, Legacy of Kain. That's a good one. Also out on PlayStation.
Those would be so good for remasters.
It's one of those things where, like, I almost wish somebody would buy Square Enix just so that somebody would, like, use the Legacy of Kain franchise.
You know what? I agree with you, but I'm also like, if they're gonna give it that, I mean, I haven't played Marvel Avengers, but if they're gonna give it like the Tomb Raider polish, I don't mind if they kind of like slowly get around to it. I would love for them to rush it, but
I'm just afraid they won't get around to it.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, I would rather them kind of not touch it compared to... I love the character Fury in the latest Darksiders, but I hated Darksiders 3, man. There's something about it. They're just so empty and lifeless.
I heard it wasn't great, but I haven't played it, so...
It's
Skies of Arcadia, though.
On Game Pass. Skies of Arcadia is classic.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Isn't there... I feel like there's a Steam game that's like that, but it's like a free-to-play. I feel like I played it.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure.
But Skies of Arcadia, man. You cannot go wrong.
Yeah, it's one of those... So I'm surprised... so we see Sonic Adventure is going to be the last one here. Which, I mean, it was a launch. I'm really surprised Evolution wasn't on this list. Because that was like it was a bigger RPG.
Yeah.
That not a lot of people played.
I mean...
Well, maybe that's why it's not on there, but... there was a bunch of games on here that I had not heard of, so I mean,
I think we can agree when we did the best games of like all time or whatever that episode was. A lot of these are subjective, and person may have never even played half of these, or may only have played these games. Because when was this written? Get back up to the top. Okay, where's the 2020. The last year.
Okay. So they not too long ago.
May never have played these. I mean, they probably played them to get the screenshots, but probably picked from another list that they're like, oh, let me try these, and made a list like this. Like, I appreciate the time Seb. No, not even gonna try that. Seb on Retro Dodo put it into it, but we know a lot of these lists are personal opinions.
Right. Yeah.
Which is not bad.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can find... here's a list of... Oh god, we're not going to go through every one of these.
Good god, yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, there's a lot.
And man, like a lot of these,
For a system that didn't last long, it sure
right?
did have a hell of a lot of games. I mean, a lot of those games were ports
Yeah.
between like PS2 and PS1 and stuff like that. So
God. Yeah.
yeah.
And a lot of them, if we're looking at the gray, were unreleased anyway on sometimes all systems or sometimes in regions. But yeah, I mean, 624 games on this list, so there's probably a whole bunch more that are undocumented.
Yeah.
Wow. I want to see Sega's titles. Oh, Koei. Sega, where the hell are you? Oh wow, they put out a few.
Yeah, there's a lot of first party stuff.
Some of these I've never heard of. Why do you need like 5 Hello Kitty games?
I don't know. They might be the same one, just different versions, perhaps.
Only released in Japan too.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, especially in 2000. Okay, yeah. But yeah, like Virtua, so much here.
Yeah, there was a bunch of Virtua games. Let me see if there's anything I can pull out from that list. I'm just pulling up that list on my end here.
Okay, yeah.
Let's see. What?
So
okay,
many.
there was a Christmas seaman.
Ew.
So, and I don't. I'm looking at the categories for these games, and I didn't expect to see this as the category. So, for Christmas Seaman, the category is strategy, breeding, and constructing.
I feel dirty.
So.
I feel like we need to wash ourselves after saying.
Oh, and apparently it was unreleased. So
unreleased in North America, but it was in Japan.
Yeah, it was released in Japan. December 16th. I'm not
surprised with the title breeding. Oh my god. Oh.
Well, that's the category that it's
in. Yeah. Oh.
Oh, jeez.
I feel dirty.
What are you doing, guys? There was a Magic the Gathering game that was released in Japan.
You?
Okay.
Oh.
All right, I see you.
Now that we've fully dove into the Dreamcast, you know what it is, because
oh yeah,
it is. We've talked about the games. We've talked about. I can't get that last 5 minutes of my life back. That was weird. We're gonna talk about how Dreamcast paved the way for Xbox. And thank you for joining us, Chocolate. Get some rest. You work too gosh dang hard, man. So, Trevor is going to start this.
Hey, thanks, Chaka.
Which one do you want me to click on? What the original Xbox Sega games could?
Yeah, you could do what original Xbox. Yeah, that like the actual article doesn't matter. Like I literally just have that up because it has a list at the top that shows all of the Sega games that came to the original Xbox.
Ooh,
so,
nice.
So that way I would have a good look at what came out. But there's the Windows Central article that's basically outlined what we talked about earlier. That was an article by Richard Devine, so to give him some credit there. For Windows Central, if you don't know what Windows Central is, it's essentially just a website that talks about Windows news and stuff like that. And it's a pretty good site for that. But basically, that was the site that we were looking at that told us about the Windows CE compatibility and all that. So that was kind of Microsoft dipping their toe in. But then eventually, by the time that the Xbox was rolling around, the Dreamcast was basically dead for all intents and purposes, because this was November 2001 when the original Xbox came out, and Sega was very much a big partner for the original Xbox and the games that would come out for it. So
this is kind of like something that always drives me crazy when people, you guys know we don't cover news topics. That's tomorrow and Thursday. But we did, this one did coincidentally happen to fall around the rumors. But the people that are losing their minds over this don't know, and I don't want to say this for all, but some of them don't know gaming history, because if you knew gaming history like this, you would know these companies work together all the time. They've been working together since the beginning. It's not new. Like, oh, stuff like that bothers me. Like, just Google it. Sega, Xbox, and you would see. I'm pretty sure this Windows Central article will pop up first.
Yeah. So, this was me. So, essentially, we ended up finding. I found an article that has a list of, basically, like at least the big games that they released. It doesn't have all the sports games listed here that I can tell based on this list, but it has like the big games that Sega put out on the original Xbox. So we probably go through some of those, but essentially to start off really is that Sega had this. They died. Oddly enough, they end up Sega and Xbox also end up sharing some corporate leadership with a changeover, because Peter Moore, which many may infamously know him as the one who had the Halo 2 tattoo with the date at E3, where he lifted up his arm and it was the Halo 2 November 9th coming out for 2004. He also had a Grand Theft Auto 4 tattoo during the 360 era when they were talking about coming out for consoles. Yeah. But obviously not real tattoos, but that was, their E3 presentations for those years. But Peter Moore was the CEO of Sega when the Dreamcast came out, and then became the head of Xbox at some point towards I think it was like around 2003, 2004. So they kind of shared that corporate leadership there in a sense. As Peter Moore moved on to that, Peter Moore then went on to head up EA Sports, and then went into football after that, and then I think he's back now doing something. I can't remember what he's doing now.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just
interesting. Are all intertwined.
Yeah, it's just interesting how, like, the way that the lineage has moved through in that sense. But to talk about it, this was a time where Sega was trying to figure out. I think they were trying to figure out where their franchises could live, essentially, because you can tell, because they were releasing different things on different consoles, but I would say for the more experimental and different stuff, they had a lot of Xbox One exclusives. So like they had this, like Sonic was kind of like getting around. He was kind of on everything. Yeah. Sonic was everywhere. All right.
He really was.
So they were putting Sonic on everything. Makes sense. Sonic's their big seller. Sonic was their big franchise. So why not triple dip on that generation and get the GameCube, get your Xbox, get your PlayStation. Everybody gets a Sonic. Which, it probably blew some Sega diehard minds when Sonic showed up on the Nintendo GameCube. Right. That's for sure.
I mean, just let it happen.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it broke their brains there for a couple minutes. It's almost like if you put like an exclusive baseball game of Sony's on the Xbox or something. That'll never happen.
I just don't understand why people don't, especially for sports games. They're so niche that if you put them on multiple platforms, it will keep the games going.
Yeah, I mean, that relationship is totally good for Sony. Like, I understand why people. Well, I understand why people would think it's not, but really, at the end of the day, Sony's going to make more money off of that game because it's on multiple systems.
So
So, and just because like the MLB is publishing it on Xbox and other systems doesn't mean that Sony doesn't get a big old cut of that still.
oh god,
They
yeah.
developed the game. They're getting a big cut, like
Yep.
regardless. So either way, they're making more money, and I think they'll be happy with it in the long run. Even if even if it seems like they wouldn't.
I mean, they took, even before all this, they took their leading lady, Lara Croft, and put her on Xbox. Most people were surprised by that. And now they've taken Aloy, and now Days Gone, which is coming out on May 18th.
Yeah, I mean they're making good. Basically, they're trying to make good business decisions, like any
Exactly.
business would. They're branching out their portfolio, putting it on PC, and that's kind of opens the gates a little bit. Do I ever think we're gonna truly see like a marriage of like Xbox and PlayStation? No, probably not.
Not in our lifetimes, at least.
No, I mean not unless one of them decides to get out of the video game industry. I think it's the only way we'll see that.
Yeah, it's too much money
And
in
I
that
was
right now.
yeah, exactly. So, and the video game industry is the best thing going for Sony right now. So I don't think they're getting out anytime soon. But to go back, so Sega was trying to figure out where to put their games, like where do these sit, and they had to have made some sort of deal with Xbox for these exclusives. And I'm sure it was one of those cases where Microsoft was like, "Hey, we worked with you in the past. We had a good partnership on the Dreamcast. Yeah, sure. Maybe that didn't work out for you guys, but hey, we got this powerful hardware out here, and we need some games on it." And I'm sure and I'm sure it was as simple as that. Offering a little bit of money to put these games out, and it made sense for some of these titles, at least to start out as Xbox exclusives, like Phantasy Star Online, episode 1 and 2.
Yep.
It also came out for the GameCube.
Yes.
For those that don't remember, GameCube did have an internet online adapter, which I want to say a grand total of like 3 or 4 games used it.
Right, I was about to say.
Which yeah, it was Phantasy Star Online 1 and 2, Phantasy Star Online 3, the card game.
Oh god.
And I'm pretty sure it was Mario Kart Double Dash, are the ones that I remember could use the GameCube Ethernet. So that's that. And I don't think it was never popular. It was never widely used.
It was
so
probably expensive. Heck, too.
Yeah, I don't remember how much the adapter was at least $50. It might have been more at the time. And it just I don't think it just wasn't. I don't remember ever selling one.
Wow.
To be completely honest with you. But I don't think they weren't like super readily available either. So it's just it was just it was a very weird like niche product for Nintendo to have at the time. So really, if you wanted to play online Phantasy Star and you were not playing on a PC, you were going to play it on Xbox.
Yeah.
So the Xbox version was definitely the console version to get once the Dreamcast was dead, unfortunately. So that's what you saw was Phantasy Star, but they also brought the new Panzer Dragoon Orta. Only came out for the Xbox. Jet Set Radio Future, the sequel to Jet Set Radio, was only on original Xbox. They may have ported some of these games like since, but at the time, at launch, these were only on Xbox. House of the Dead 3, other than arcades, only on Xbox. Toe Jam and Earl 3, Mission to Earth, original Xbox game.
Series to own. Toe Jam and Earl's like Classic, man.
Yeah, I love Toe Jam and Earl. I really love the first one. I didn't actually play the third one on Xbox.
Yeah.
But the latest one that got kickstarted and made is very much a really good throwback while feeling like a newer game. Like, it was very good, so I would highly recommend anybody who loved the OG Toe Jam and Earl to check out that one.
I mean, that's how you do it. You
Um,
don't do it with like oh, Commander Keen, that stupid mobile game. You don't bring Commander Keen back.
mhm.
You can do spin-offs with the kids, like Wolfenstein Youngblood, but you don't bring back Commander Keen, which you're too young to know what that is. You probably haven't been listening to this conversation, but Commander Keen is probably one of as influential as Duke Nukem as Doom in like the platforming spectrum, and to bring it back with a phone game is insulting.
Yeah. And then Outrun 2 was only on Xbox. And just think about this too. At one point, the Xbox, just like every other system, had pack-in games. It had a 2-pack. That 2-pack was Outrun and Jet Set Radio Future.
Oh my god.
So those were 2 Sega games as a pack-in with the original Xbox. I'm pretty sure that was prior. That was before Halo 2, so that was probably around 2002, 2003 when they did those pack-ins.
Jeez.
Yeah, so I mean, Sega obviously had a deal. There was obviously a legacy there.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy. And then obviously games like Sonic Heroes, Sonic Mega Collection, Sonic Riders, Shadow the Hedgehog, all came out on Xbox, but those also came out on PlayStation and on GameCube as well, because Sonic came out on everything. But then there's some like and Crazy Taxi 3 was an original Xbox game. But there were some like super niche games that nobody remembers, like Gun Valkyrie, which was a extremely hard Metroidvania type game. I'm pretty sure it was based off of an anime that I've never seen.
I need to
but
look
it
the cover art for this.
Yeah. But Gun Valkyrie, it was developed by Smilebit, but published by Sega, and it was only on original Xbox. It says it's a third-person shooter, so maybe it wasn't a Metroidvania. It's been a long time since I've seen it.
I mean, Metroidvania has adapted or evolved so much. I don't care. I just want to see the launch trailer. Look at that awesome 3D animation. Oh, this is rough.
But I remember because so Kat, the head of my studio, he's a very hardcore Xbox person. Or especially the original Xbox. He's got a fairly large original Xbox collection and has been for a long time working to get a full original Xbox collection. So I have sat in his parents' house and watched him play games like this, that nobody else had ever heard of. So, but
like
it has been a long time. Yeah. So yeah, Gun Valkyrie. I remember it being extremely hard. That's like the main thing I remember from it.
Right up his alley, because he plays nothing on easy. He doesn't know the definition.
Yeah. Actually, it looks like, watching it now, it's very EDF, Earth Defense Force, is what it looks like. So, yeah, like, wow. There was
Troopers game.
Man, now I'm trying to remember what the heck that Metroidvania type game was, because there definitely was one like that. Because I remember it vividly, I just don't know what it was.
I don't want to say. I'm gonna click on some gameplay just because I want to see what the gameplay outside of the trailer. So this is a video from Ricky C at Long Plays. I just want to see what the gameplay's like. I'm still curious now.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh wow, this is very much like giving me BioShock. Any actually game. Hard reset. had the same kind of,
Yeah.
man, Hard Reset was a, oh, okay. Something, it broke and then didn't unlock any trophies. I'm like, I'm not replaying. Crap. Wow, okay. It looks like fun, but if you're saying it's hard,
Yeah.
I know to stay away from, because you don't lie to me.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I really remember it. Okay, like this, it kind of looks more of like what I remember, except it's like not like the same orientation as like a traditional Metroidvania, but it's third person.
Yeah. Kind of like Vanquished is what I'm getting, especially with the suit moving.
Yeah, kind of, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
But yeah, I remember it being very hard. But that's not the only one that came out. So there's a small Japanese studio that I'm sure nobody has heard of and has never played any of their games. They're called From Software.
Who are they? I don't know them.
Some people would say they have a lot of soul, or souls.
Shut up! Don't do that.
But they came out with a couple games for the original Xbox. They were exclusive, published by Sega. A Togi and a Togi 2. These games, they were hack and slashers. Also extremely hard. Like these were the Souls games before Souls games. All right.
Yeah.
But they were Xbox exclusive. I think it was. It's OTOGI.
Why was I thinking O or A? If you guys hear a noise, one of my neighbors is doing something dumb, so ignore it. Let me see the gameplay.
Yeah, it kind of like they're almost like Ninja Gaiden-esque, in a way.
That's this is from Game Informer. Did they beat this game in an hour?
I don't. I think it's just a look at the Itogi series, but yeah. But yeah, these were Sega published Xbox exclusives. Did not come to anything else. Which is probably why nobody knows about these games.
I've never heard of this.
Yeah, because they were. I think this was Xbox trying to make its footprint in Japan, and failing because Xbox has never been big in Japan, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So, but they've always tried. They've always tried to get that footprint. But I know these games were steeped in a lot of Japanese mythology. But
the only person that might know these is Dallas. I don't even know if he would know them either.
Yeah, they're. I mean, essentially, like I said, they were Dark Souls games before Dark Souls.
Wow.
So and yeah, I would say Ninja Gaiden's probably the closest thing around the same time that came out, which Ninja Gaiden was Xbox exclusive for the longest time as well, although it wasn't a Sega game. So,
wow.
There was that's why like the original Xbox had a lot of bangers, and nobody knew about it.
Well,
you know.
And I think at the time, it was just different. My brain, sorry, but that made me think of this game. Severance Blade of Darkness was Souls before Souls, honestly. Like even before Itogi. This is 2001, or actually same time. But you could swing.
Yeah, it was pretty close.
You could do all that stuff, and it was just Blade of Darkness. I don't know. I think Severance is the second one, but Blade of Darkness, I think. I'd have to go back, but yeah, wow. From Software, Itogi, that's hell of an interest.
Yeah, so I mean, and that again, that was an Xbox exclusive, both of them, the first and its sequel. So, I would say that's one of those like original Xbox rare gems right there, and that was a Sega collaboration right there, between. So when you look at it and you see these rumors that are going on right now, it's like, is Microsoft buying a Japanese developer? And that's why me instantly, where a lot of people are looking at, are they buying Konami? Are they buying Square Enix or whatever? Like, I instantly go Sega.
Yeah.
Because they've had this relationship for years. And, and if you look at Japanese developers, a lot of Japanese developers do not sell their companies.
No, they'd rather
So
put it into the ground than sell it.
Yeah, so it's kind of weird to hear anything about a Japanese company selling to Microsoft. However, it would make sense to me if a company that has had a long-term relationship with Microsoft, such as Sega, sold because they've had a long-term relationship with them. So to kind of fuel and feed into those rumors, that's why I feel personally, if they were to sell to any if any Japanese company were to sell to Microsoft, it would be Sega. And that's because of their relationship, and you can see that relationship starting to bloom again with all the Yakuza games and everything being ported back into the Xbox ecosystem. And I think when you have someone in charge like Phil Spencer, who obviously he's a huge gamer himself, I'm sure he knows the legacy of a relationship between Xbox and a place like Sega, and can go back and look and be like, hey guys, we've our companies have worked together for this long. Like, why not make that jump? And then now Sega are straightforwardly see the kind of numbers that they can do by bringing those games to Game Pass, and what that has done for them as a company.
Right.
I don't think Yakuza Like a Dragon does as well as it does unless it comes on Game Pass. Because I think being on Game Pass, like I think it did well on PlayStation 4, but it's still only going to hit a certain audience. But I think hitting PS4 and then adding more people with Game Pass, whereas people that have Game Pass are more likely to just randomly try something. Like, oh hey, someone told me this was good, or hey, this looks interesting. Maybe I'll download this and check it out. And I think that's what it does. And then once somebody plays one of those games for the first time and they're like, oh, this is not what I expected it to be.
Right.
This is way better. I think then you get more.
Example of that is Indivisible. It's kind of a real-time or turn-based strategy, kind of, but it's like a real-time turn-based. And I just saw it was leaving Game Pass, and I'm like, it kind of looked like a Battle Chef Brigade with the art style, and I love Battle Chef Brigade, and I'm like, let me try it. So I tried it, loved it, and I'm like, okay. Then I heard the studio was shutting down due to mismanagement, and I'm like, I have to buy this game. So for those that say it does not lead to sales, it does. Like, I'm gonna try to find me a copy of Spiritfarer. Like, these games, Game Pass opens doors to people.
Yeah, Game Pass absolutely leads to sales. I think, I want to say it was the developer of Descenders.
Yes.
He was talking on Twitter about how basically their sales weren't doing well, and then they went on to Game Pass, and it like increased their sales numbers exponentially. And I think that it just comes down to from an indie standpoint right now, the hardest thing to do in video games right now is to get your game discovered. Because you look, each and every week you look at the Steam store, and there are a ton of games that have just come out.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's like, how do you pick which ones to check out? So the thing that happens with Game Pass is a couple of them get highlighted.
Mm-hmm.
And not only that, then you have a couple million people that can actually check it out and play it. And when you
Exactly.
have a couple million people that can play it, those people, even if it's just a percentage of those people, they're going to check it out, they're going to play it, they're going to be like, well, damn, this game's good. I'm going to tell my friend Kenny over there
Go play
that,
this.
hey, Kenny, you have Game Pass, right?
Mm-hmm.
This game's cool. Check it out. And then, it's an effect that it gives a good word of mouth. And
Mm-hmm.
I think word of mouth probably helps sell a video game more than anything else.
Just like that, Spiritfarer, it's on sale right now, but I think base Canadian is $33.99, so $23 for you guys, and the digital edition is like almost $60. If I saw it on E3, I was like, oh, looks like something I would like, but if it wasn't for Game Pass, I probably wouldn't have tried it out. And now I'm gonna go when I talk to Baron tomorrow, because me and him love fishing in games, and you fish a ton. I'm like, you gotta play this. Go play fishing.
Yeah.
Go play Spiritfarer. This is right up your alley. I know you're gonna love this. We don't I know I have to say this time and time again, level 1 does not get paid by Game Pass, but if they did, I would not be mad. But we're just looking, hey, it's a pandemic. At least here in Canada, we're probably gonna be locked down for the rest of the year. People don't want to wash the goddamn hands and put the mask on. When a lot of people aren't working, we're just trying to give you the best value that
Yeah.
you can. 11 or 15
Yeah.
bucks. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, look, I so for me, my financial situation is pretty much like money is kind of non-existent for me currently because I work for an indie developer that gets a percentage of our studio, and we're not making money yet because we haven't finished our game and I'm not selling it yet. So, pretty much, I'm on a very small budget.
Mm-hmm.
So Game Pass for me means I get to play a bunch of games,
Mm-hmm.
even though I am on a very small budget. So I know I'm in a situation like many other people who can't afford to throw down, even $20 for a game every so often.
Yep.
But maybe you'll have $10 or $15 a month for Game Pass, or you find other means to get like I do Microsoft rewards for Game Pass.
Right?
So
Right?
it's incredibly smart uh, to do
Yeah.
it that way. For anybody that hasn't heard about Microsoft rewards, go look it up. Um,
Seriously. And use I know people rip into it, but Microsoft Edge gives you an extra bonus. You can also look on your phone, but go look up rewards. Because Fame and I
I
were doing
would
it last night.
So they have actually updated Microsoft Edge. And the new version of Edge is a Chromium browser.
Mm-hmm.
So the new Edge just uses Chrome anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So honestly, like I switched to it a while ago, and I was using both for a little bit there,
Mm-hmm.
and actually it used once the Chromium version came out, it actually used less. It hogged up my system less than Chrome did.
Chrome
So
hates
I've
everybody.
started to use I've started to use Edge for a while, and I think it's better than Chrome is currently.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I mean that's just a personal opinion. So,
Exactly.
uh,
Well, just with the Edge,
take that for what everybody else will. Yeah.
you get extra. That's why I use Opera, because Opera, you can probably see, has
Hmm.
built-in VPN. It's not
Yeah.
great, but I still can get basic VPNs to like Japan and stuff. So it's like I can watch Japanese Netflix. That's why I use Opera and Edge. But seriously, go get some
Yeah. See,
rewards, and you'll never have to pay for your.
I
Uh,
need a good VPN that'll let me watch Canadian TV shows. Uh,
I don't know why everybody thinks. Maybe because I'm so used to it, but I don't know why everybody thinks we have the best Netflix.
so it's not even Netflix for me. I'm a big so one of my guilty pleasures is Big Brother.
Um,
So Big Brother Canada is going on right now, and I would like to be able to just watch it instead of having to find a torrent and downloading it after the show airs, because it's Canada. But
okay.
as an American citizen, I can't watch it, and I can't watch the Canadian version because it's VPN locked.
I was about to say,
So
I couldn't even give you mine. I think it's on Netflix, because it would still lock you out because you're region. Wow.
yeah, so yeah, so but yeah, like that is pretty much like the one Canadian show that like I'm into, but whatever. If I have to download a torrent for each episode the next day, so be it. I mean, I'm still getting to watch it. It's just,
A little
a bigger
delayed.
pain than yeah, than what I would like. But hey,
It
I'm
is what it
still
is.
watching it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Microsoft Rewards, seriously, go try it out. You'll never have to pay for Game Pass if you do it every day. It's a daily thing. If you can check Twitter every day, you can do that.
oh yeah, it's
Because
super easy. Like
come on, guys.
yeah, it's well worth the time to do. And like the cool thing about Microsoft Rewards too is if you have an Xbox, there are bonus like
Mm-hmm.
quests to do on the Xbox that'll earn you more points, and it's all
Mm-hmm.
about playing games through Game Pass,
Mm-hmm.
which is awesome. So it's like a no-brainer. It's like, hey, we're gonna pay you a few imaginary dollars. We'll call them Microsoft Rewards points, and you get to play Game Pass, and then with those imaginary dollars that we give you, you can buy more Game Pass.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's like okay,
And
um,
PC now is finally started to do those quests. Game Pass PC's
yeah,
finally started to do this quest. And it's like, thank you. It's,
yeah, and I'm sure that'll continue to open up even more.
I mean, it has to at
So
this point.
yeah, so I Microsoft just kind of has a good thing going. They have a good thing going if you're on a budget.
I mean, look at
I will
just
say.
the games we've been touting. Yakuza. So far, all 6 of them are on there, including zero. Actually, it's 7 because 0 to
7 because of 0,
6.
yeah.
Uh, if you were to buy those games, that's at least about $600 plus that you would have to spend, give or take. All the If you want steelbooks or if you're buying it digitally, depending where you live, if you can even get it, because I know Australia, a lot of the games are locked out. $11 compared to $600. What you gonna take?
Yeah, and there's so much on there. But back to it. So that was the relationship that
Mm-hmm.
Sega had on the original Xbox. Just all of those great titles, including a few rare ones
Like
on the original
very rare.
Xbox. And even to add to that, Sega had a few big exclusives in the early Xbox 360 days.
Yeah.
Which
Although some of these, I don't know if they were short exclusives, because like Bayonetta wasn't an exclusive. It came out the same year on PlayStation. It came out. Yeah, it came out the same year on PlayStation. When did it come out? I'm pretty sure Bayonetta came out the same time. I didn't. Let me see. It came out early 2010. Well, it's 2009, but yeah, this one I don't. It wasn't an exclusive. Neither was Condemned. Condemned was on the PlayStation 2. Uh-oh. I think Trevor's frozen. His computer crashed. Okay. Trevor will be right back. Yeah, I'm sorry, Dallas. I mean, we told you that Game Pass was far. I don't own an Xbox, and honestly, I don't see a reason to own an Xbox. I understand how great they are, but hold on, I just need to look up if Bayonetta was a timed exclusive, because I don't think it was. Bayonetta. Yeah, same day. Bayonetta, Lady Dimitrescu, think the boxes. So the boxes are a little messed up. Once Trevor gets back, where's this? The boxes will fix itself. But a lot of these aren't exclusive games. What is this? Maybe this is a list of Sega games on the Xbox that were just on the Xbox. Oh no, have Trevor and I now swapped brain? Really? Swap places? Oh no, okay.
Okay. Yeah.
You have joined us. Hey, technology sucks sometimes.
Yep. I was like, oh no.
It's okay. But I was just talking about this. I got the Sega list up, and I'm like, Bayonetta wasn't an exclusive. It wasn't even a timed exclusive. Were these just
No,
Sega
those
games
yeah,
that went?
that's yeah. So
Oh,
this list, like I remember some of the exclusives. Yeah, this is
okay.
just a list
Okay.
of the ones that came out. So it's more the early days ones that were exclusive. So Condemned was a launch title for the 360, and that was an exclusive because, well, there was no other system out at the time.
Let's see. Oh, I'm not thinking of Condemned. I was thinking of The Suffering. That's a different game. Condemned Criminal Origins.
Condemned Criminal that game was awesome. And it was Monolith.
It's still awesome. And terrifying.
It's still, yeah, it is.
Your XSplit doesn't want to put your beautiful face back up here. Do I need to have a talking?
XSplit. What are you doing?
I can beat it into submission. I'll give it the old fisticuffs. I'll box.
What are you doing to me, XSplit?
It said not today, sir. While Trevor's figuring that out, you guys, thank you for rocking with us. If you want to tweet out the stream, you can. This will be put up on the website following this as well. Tomorrow is 2XP. It's gonna be a big show, yeah? It's gonna be exciting. Thursday, Take-Two. Fame and I will be finishing. Maybe Thursday we'll try to finish It Takes Two. Because I have until the 27th where my PlayStation Plus runs out. Friday, keep games. Saturday, ready, press play. Sunday, we rest because it's the Lord's Day. But Trevor's XSplit is not having any of him now. I'm Trevor.
Yeah, it is okay. Like, yeah. Give me 1 sec. I might have to do. I'm not gonna like reboot or anything, but
oh, you take your time.
I'm just messing with some settings here.
We take our time. We do what we want to in our time. This is Cogs in a Machine. What else? Sorry, I'm just looking at it, making sure my tags is right. I was putting in tags and stuff earlier. I lost
what the heck, XSplit? What are you doing?
It said, not today, boy.
Pretty much, yeah.
Let's see. Out of these 360 games, which ones have I played? Condemned. Chrome Hounds, I feel like I might have played, I'm not sure. Sonic.
Chrome Hounds was an exclusive, and Chrome Hounds was the mech game. That was pretty much online only. We talked about it before.
Yeah.
In a previous episode.
I don't think, and maybe I didn't.
Because it was also from Software.
Yeah, definitely didn't play it.
Yeah.
The Golden Compass, if that's the game movie, definitely played that. I never played Condemned 2. I did play a bit of the Iron Man game. It was awful. Same with the Incredible Hulk game. Bayonetta, of course. I've already got into my deep love for Big Beautiful Women, and Bayonetta was the first, or one of the first. Alien vs. Never played that. Iron Man, I don't think I played Iron Man 2. Vanquish, I played a bit of it, never finished it. Thor God of Thunder. I have a retrospective on this, but I played the DS version, not the console version. Binary Domain. Oh, I love this game. I want to replay it on stream soon. Man,
Yeah, it was good stuff.
remember Colonial Marines? Oof, what a failure that was. And I have to play Alien Isolation. I have it on Game Pass. I'm a little bitch. Like, I hate scary games. I love scary movies because I'm not as invested in a movie as I am in a game. Being in there's a difference between being right here than watching a movie or something. But yeah, oof. Binary Domain is so good. But I feel like only 3 people, you and Wasabi Ice Cream, because I played it with Wasabi Ice Cream, are the only ones that I know played it. Because it came out like 3 weeks before Mass Effect 3, so I understand. I have 2 versions of that game. Oh, I hope they re-release it for like PlayStation 5 and stuff so I can eventually get it there. Does the PlayStation 5 controller work on PC yet? Like, fully work?
I'm not sure, to be completely honest.
Once they bring that haptic shit into the PC, I'm gonna get me a PlayStation 5 controller, because it reminds me of their suits from Endgame. And that's all I can think about. What's up, Baron? How you doing? Trevor is fiddling with his camera because XSplit decided to say,
Yeah, it's saying no. Basically.
While we're gonna go through these some of these games here, did you guys see? You don't even have to like sports, but Las Vegas Raiders put out a tweet today that was, man, they should have just shut the hell up, kind of like when we were on Dallas's stream talking about Linus Tech Tips, where he said something good, but it wasn't the time. Yeah, the Las Vegas Raiders did that, and I think most people, I mean, I've seen the comment section. It's not good. It's bad. It's really bad. I can't believe it. Yeah.
Oh man, did Dallas mention The Circle on Netflix?
Yes.
I think I totally watched that show. It's really good.
I have it on the list, but I haven't started it.
It's a show that you don't think is gonna be good, but then you watch it and you can't help but watch it because it's good stuff. It's good stuff. And yes, Dallas, the Xbox, fire. You got it, my man.
See, I just don't like reality TV shows. That's why I'm like,
I like reality competitions. I don't like regular reality shows.
The only one I watch, Great British Bake Off, because I can't help myself.
I like Big Brother, I like Survivor, and I like The Challenge. And that's generally where and you can put The Circle in there now too, but that's pretty much like it for the most part as far as reality TV.
I'm so boring when it comes, like, if it's not a video game related show or an anime, it's usually I'm watching like a documentary or something. Like, I'm an old lady. I can't help myself. I'm just like, I just want to watch a good, Renaissance art documentary. Like, I just want to watch about 14th century painting. I can't help myself.
I think for me, when it comes to the reality competition shows, I like seeing how people go about winning, especially in a game or in a show like Big Brother, where it's not just about winning the actual competition part of it. It's also the social aspect and how they strategize to navigate through the social politics that is the game in the house, as well as actually having to win the competitions to further their social game, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So it's very much like it's very strategic, but like maybe not a lot of people maybe may or may not get into the strategy part of it, but that's the part that I really get into. And so I like to see how people tackle that, and it's really cool to see some of these people and how they win, and it's very interesting in that aspect. So that's why I get into it, because of the strategy part of it.
Hell, I mean,
So
the only show that I look at people sideways watching is like the Sister Wives and stuff. But if you watch what you want to watch, man, like,
yeah, I
life is
can't
too
do those
short.
shows.
I
Don't
understand that.
like the 90-day fiancés and stuff like that. Not for me.
Kill me.
But like, I mean, I can understand why people would watch that stuff, because it's like sometimes it's like you just got to see like people doing some crazy stupid stuff.
Yeah.
Like I understand that aspect, you know. Hey, maybe some other people have it like crazier or worse than me, so I'll watch that. But
Yeah, not for me. I understand it,
yeah,
but yeah, I'm like, okay.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's not my cup of tea. But yeah, at the end of the day, you know, you do you. But yeah, this camera is not gonna work, so
So I'm
we'll
Trevor
just
now.
yeah. So you're me now, and I'm you, and
So
so
I am
my
not
camera is
as
now
good
on the
looking.
floor. That is. Yeah, I think I would have to reboot to actually get my camera to work again, so
Ugh.
I'm just not going to bother
Good thing it's
at this
close
point.
to the end, because
Yeah.
I mean, if that had happened in the beginning, I'd been like, oh, okay, we're just cursed now.
Right. Yeah.
Like, this only
Yeah.
happened.
So yeah,
Yeah.
it's something to do with the program. I'm sure, like I said, I'm sure a reboot will fix it, but
Oh yeah.
it's just
Like, we've been
gotta
talking
love
about,
technology.
right, these last 2 hours or however long we've been going, is not Game Pass, Xbox and Sega, their relationship isn't new. Actually, even
Yeah.
Xbox and PlayStation have had a relationship, and they continue to. But there's
So
Sega is just a little different. Sega's a
yeah,
little
so
more. Ooh.
you look at those early 360 games,
Mm-hmm.
and they still had that relationship. Games like Condemned, Chrome
Mm-hmm.
Hounds, like we talked about before. Chrome Hounds was a great From Software game. Another one that was Xbox exclusive that no one played. Damn it!
Mm-hmm.
But it was a great online game that if you were there at that point in time in that bubble, literally Chrome Hounds, our EB Game store, like all of us bought Chrome Hounds, and we were playing it together and playing it every night, and we had a crew going,
Oh.
and literally you would build your own mechs. It was like a map where you picked a team, and then it was like it was a war battle, like, and you were trying to win the war for that season. Um, and everything you did put points towards your team on the battlefield and stuff like that, and you know, and killing other mechs, you would get new parts, and you could build your Chrome Hound however you wanted. Like, it was awesome. Chrome Hounds was like really cool, and I think in 2020 Chrome Hounds would be hella successful. Like, I would love to see From Software being like, man, we're bringing back Chrome Hounds, and like the five of us who played it back then would be like, yes. Um, but I think you could grab more people now because of the way online gaming has shifted.
Yeah.
I just it was another thing Sega did that was before their time in a sense, because people were playing more online games in 2006, but they weren't ready for. It was kind of one of those things where it's like you look at a game and you see online only. Who does online only was the thing at the time. Like the only single player part to Chrome Hounds was literally just tutorial training. So
So Chrome Hounds reminds me, and I feel like most people haven't played this, but
Hawken.
Hawken.
Yeah.
It's still around. I don't know how many
Yeah,
people still play it.
Yeah, I played a little bit of Hawken. It's somewhat similar, yeah.
It's more Titanfall than Chrome Hounds,
Mhm.
I would say, but it's still
Yeah.
like for a free-to-play mech game, it's still pretty good. Like I said, I
Yeah,
don't
for
know how
sure.
many servers and stuff are still open. I know it's on PS4. I know it's on Steam, but
It was on Xbox One as well, so
yeah, it's
yeah.
still there. It needs some love.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean for like but to think of the pedigree there cuz From Software did the Armored Core games too.
They
As they would
did.
put Armored Core 4 out later uh on the 360 and on PS3, I believe. If I remember that right. Um
You
but
remember
yeah,
things
it's
better than I do, so you're probably right.
sometimes but it's weird, but then but another game that did you ever play Full Auto?
Don't think so.
So Full Auto was a mixture between a traditional racing game. It's like they took Sega GT and added guns.
So
Um,
kind of like Twisted Metal.
yes, except you were doing regular races. So you were racing around a track, but then you could also shoot at and blow up dudes um,
So
with your guns.
a mix of
It was
Twisted Metal with like Paradise City or whatever franchise that was. I can't remember which.
yeah, kind of almost like an Outrun or a Sega GT mixed with Twisted
Okay.
Metal. So,
Huh.
and it was a lot of fun.
I mean, it
And
looks
the first,
crazy.
yeah, the first one was Xbox 360 exclusive. Full Auto 2 was only on PS3, but Full Auto 2 was literally just a port of Full Auto 1 from the
Of course it was.
360 to the PS3, but they called it Full Auto 2 for some reason.
Because they want to make you feel special.
Yeah, I'm sure they probably added a thing or two, but yeah, it was an interesting game, but it was a lot of fun in those early days because this came out in 2006 before the PS3 even launched. So because
Wow.
this was like an early 360 title because it wasn't at launch, but it was probably like a few months after launch when it came out. So it was during that time where we're starving for games. It's like, come on,
Like now?
feed me more. Yeah, exactly. Um, but in those days we didn't have the old games to go back to on those new systems.
It's true.
So because it was before Microsoft was like super into the backwards compatibility thing.
And thanks,
Wh-
Phil Spencer, for just being who he is.
yeah, yeah. I mean the
Don't
Xbox
die.
team. They have. I'll try not to, but the Xbox team has so many good people behind the scenes that are doing some really smart, creative things as far as hardware and software,
Mm-hmm.
especially with the backwards compatibility stuff. That it's like man, like I really wish that other companies would put the time and effort into it as well.
Yeah.
Like I would be all aboard Sony doing that, like getting a team together, because they like with a guy like Mark Cerny that does all their hardware and all that stuff. Like the dude's smart enough. They could totally do backwards compatibility if they
Oh,
took the time to try to do it.
I
But
think with the reversing of the store closures, I think we might start seeing a small, because I'm pretty sure they didn't bank that people wanted these games anymore. But when they reach swift backlash, we might see. Oh my god,
yeah, I just don't know if they thought people would care that much.
they didn't.
Um,
I think people wouldn't have cared until like a week after they were already starting to see some store closures, and they're like, "No, you don't do that. You gave us until
yeah,
this specific time. Give us until this specific time." And then of course, the compounding news of once the CMOS battery goes dead, the PlayStation 4 is pretty much useless. It's just like, oh, even more insult to injury.
Yeah, it just I think it just ended up being a rough couple weeks for them. Um,
Self-created.
yeah, like I think honestly, like Sony has a ton of talent in what they're doing.
So much.
They just I don't. It's just some weird decisions, I would say.
Some
Which
very
a
weird.
lot of, but a lot of the decisions I completely understand from like a business standpoint. You
Yeah,
know,
from a
you have
business.
yeah, like but because you look at this, like if I were to sit here and have like a spreadsheet of like how much money is the PS3 store making,
Hmm.
on, and how much money, if I
Yeah,
saw a spreadsheet and saw like a cost analysis of like what is this thing doing, how much is it costing us, like maybe I might think, okay, yeah, I get it. I maybe I would shut down the PS3 store.
that's
Um,
the thing. We would that would require us to have transparency, and the fact that PlayStation is so
hmm.
not transparent is what pisses a lot of people off. Because I've talked about this
Yeah,
time and time
I think that's
again,
true. Yeah.
especially with EA Play coming to Game Pass. Is why not re-rent some Titanfall servers? Because there's going to be a bunch of people that tried it out. Why stop
Mhm.
Anthem? Because in the grand scheme of thing, now you just have people that would have come to your game not come to it at all. Like, it's the
Mhm.
transparency that these game companies don't have for me that absolutely drives me crazy. Like, you guys
Yeah,
could
I
have
think,
done this.
but I think a lot of that is still a lot of that is steeped in old school game industry thinking.
Mm-hmm.
And I think right now we're in such a transition period
Mm-hmm.
that I think what the hardcore audience wants now is they want that transparency, and they
Yep.
started to get it from certain developers, to the point where they're like, why won't they just tell us things?
Oh,
Um,
yeah. Right.
and but and it's like once that floodgate opens, it's hard to like just shut it.
Yes.
So
Very hard.
now, so now that line's been crossed, and now that you see certain developers or publishers, etc., starting to be more open and honest to their audiences about like why are we making these decisions while this and this, you're
Mm-hmm.
starting to see the ones that don't talk about that stuff are starting to get railed about it,
Mm-hmm.
which it's an adjustment period.
Yeah.
They just
I
need
mean,
to figure it out, and I just don't think they've kind of found their groove yet, which
no. Well, it's
which is
just
the
like
thing. So hopefully, I
politics
think
stuff.
exactly, yeah, yeah. We're in a very the world is in a transition period right now,
Mm-hmm.
where people are trying to figure out how to navigate that world, and maybe it's just not happening as fast as people want it to, but
Sometimes it
at the same
requires
time,
some time.
yeah, I mean, every company, regardless of what they're doing, is going to need criticism in a sense, because it will help them get better at what they do. Hopefully, become better at communicating,
Mm-hmm.
etc. Because they're being criticized about it.
I mean, yeah.
But there's a difference between being a critic and
And
being
being
a
an
troll
asshole.
about it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, like, yes, be critical. Say, hey, I don't like that you're doing this.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. But you know, don't be the guy that's oh, PlayStation, you're doing this. I hate you, and I hate everybody, and
Yeah.
uh, you know,
Or
all
don't
the
send devs death threats. Like, you
yeah,
don't do that.
exactly. Like you're sending death threat. Like these are just people. They're just trying to do the best they can.
Yeah.
Sometimes they don't make the right decision, but that's because we're humans.
Right?
And sometimes, like if you look at all the decisions you make all the time,
Mm-hmm.
like as a human, you don't always make the best decision,
No. And
and we
it's
know this.
okay to not be jive with a decision a company makes. I'm looking at Cyberpunk. I completely hate the decisions they made for Cyberpunk. But I'm
Yeah.
also not gonna send the CEO death threats. I'm not gonna send the faceless
Yeah,
devs who have to
exactly.
spend their Christmas death threats. What we can do is, you look like in the end you would be more grateful that maybe you didn't say something and it didn't get recorded for whatever future prospects you have. Because there's a dev, the game is coming out. It's called Sessions, not the skate game, but it's like a very artistic style game. And unfortunately, because the CEO of the company has been allegedly accused of harassment and sexual misconduct, I feel no need to support the game. I don't
Yeah.
need to tweet that out to anybody. I don't need to send him angry letters. Unfortunately, it's the devs that are going to suffer for his decisions, but I don't need to be that person online. I don't need to be a right fighter and make everybody's lives miserable. Missed it.
Yeah.
But gaming is weird. Gaming will be around for a very long time. It'll be around way after we're gone. It's been around way before we were here. And look, I'm just trying to enjoy my time. Enjoy the video games that I probably will never be able to work through the backlog on, and just have some fun. Because it's a hobby and it's a privilege to be able to play video games.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I think really we all just want something that takes us away from everyday life in a sense, and we just have fun with,
Yep.
And some of us also like to discuss those on a deeper level.
Yeah.
Even like us, we like talking about this stuff because it's fun for us.
And just like you said, we like not only to talk about it, but if we don't hold criticisms, like our first episode was on BioWare. You guys know BioWare is my favorite company of all time, but I will undoubtedly call them out on their stuff. I've called them out on some decisions they made within Anthem itself. I don't know if that was necessarily BioWare or EA, but you gotta hold these things accountable and be able to talk about them in a objective way. Sometimes you gotta take your passion out of it, even though it is gaming, it's about being passionate. You gotta think with your brain, because these companies don't care about our feelings, they only care about our dollars. At the end of the day, like, let's be 1,000%. They only care about your money. And even not your money, about the person that's going to spend the thousands of dollars on the collector's editions and all that. So I'm gonna put more gameplay up. I don't want to spoil the story. This is Binary Domain. Like, try not to spoil. I mean, it's not spoiling the story. This is like first 20 minutes of the game, but we'll do a replay of this eventually. But Sega was ahead of its time.
Sega has always been, to me, a company that takes chances.
Yes.
Even if those chances end up with them falling flat on their face, they'll still take them.
Yes.
But sometimes you have to take those chances. Sometimes you just have to say screw it and just go with your gut. And sometimes your gut's wrong. I mean, that's what any. Me and you have both taken chances in that instance, in a way. Like, I mean, for me, partially, yeah. But the other thing is, like, I started a game developer from nothing. It's pretty much I'm just getting done with my degree. I'm not doing anything currently as far as work goes. Like, what should I do? And a friend of mine is just like, hey, I'm going to start a game studio. Let's do this. And it's like, okay, all right, we're going to do that. And, it's a big risk, but it's also something that I've wanted to do for a long time. So we'll do that. And you're doing that risk now with level 1. Like, you guys are trying to create something that is extremely hard. to get off the ground. It takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of effort. And it's not easy.
But
It's
you
not
gotta
easy
do
to
it.
do. I've tried to do it. I tried
Mhm.
and I failed. I've tried to be where you are. I've tried to sit in that seat and I failed. So I know firsthand how much you guys work and how damn hard it is.
Yeah.
So
We
don't take that for
appreciate that.
granted.
Sometimes
You
we
guys are
do.
doing great. You
Sometimes we
guys are
look at it
doing
and go,
great considering.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like, life is about taking risks, and Sega's risks, depending on which side of the board you sit on, it might have worked out for them. I mean, look at the position they're in now, or it might not have worked out for them. But I'm glad they're still around to give us the games that they do, whether you've played them or not. The indie or AAA titles they release, like, I'm glad that they haven't faded into obscurity like so many other studios, Japanese or European, North American, have. It's nice to still have those pillars still around.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Life
Sega's like for me, I will always have good memories associated with Sega.
Mm-hmm.
Regardless of whether I love their next game or hate their next game. I will always have a soft spot in my heart for some of the stuff that Sega has come up with.
Mm-hmm.
But just like any company or anything, like, you know, they're gonna have failures. They're gonna make mistakes.
Yeah.
Because it's at the end of the day, we're all just human.
Honestly,
So
that's it. We are all just human, and life is weird. That's all
yeah,
it is.
yeah, exactly. So.
Man, that came off of a bit of a sentimental note there that we didn't mean to, but that's okay. We talk about everything and anything, and we go off topic.
Sometimes we get there, you know.
In a roundabout way, exactly. We get there. Sometimes you gotta branch off, and do other things. If you guys want to see us talk about some movies and TV shows, video game related, we definitely could do that. Let us know. What did you think of the music in the episode today? I tried to keep it low, so it's not distracting, but just enough, so it's not just complete silence, especially while the videos are playing, because I don't like to have the audio on them. Let us know what you think of those. Man,
Thunk thought.
What you did, which one of those? What you thing, what you hoo-ha, whatever. Today, Cogs in the Machine. Tomorrow, big ass show, 2XP, Lord Cog, Randall Thor, and Jeff Grubb. Come hang out for that. Thursday, Take Two. I don't know if it's going to be the podcast or if Fame and I are going to push through and do the last part of It Takes Two. We'll let you guys know. Friday, Peep Games. All this starts about the same time too. Except for Take Two, it starts when it starts. Let's say Peep Games on Friday. Ready Press Play on Saturdays. It's our only not live show. Sunday, we rest because it's the Lord's Day. Monday, 15 minutes of fame. And then we're back to Cog. We got some reviews coming up on level 1. Check out the reviews we have right now. I'm working on a Stalker big breakdown of the whole series as we know it, so that I'm not going to give any times on when that's going to come out, because I honestly don't know when that's going to come out. You guys are just being supportive. Thank you for rocking with us. If you've given to the Extra Life, thank you for giving to Extra Life, because we reached our goal, and that stream day is November 6th. We'll be doing 24 hours. Still trying to figure out a schedule. It's going to be interesting. Fame has to play one Soulsborne game. I'm thinking Jedi Fallen Order, just because it's beautiful and it's going to be the easiest, because you can choose the difficulty. And I have to play 2 horror games, so that means I either have to finish one or get a lot into it and then switch to the second one. So we have some things coming up, and we got some things coming up in these following weeks. I think I am done talking. You guys have been amazing, and please, my co-host, tell them where they can find you and just how awesome you are, because they need to know more of that.
Yeah, just look for me on Twitter at Trevor Oz. That's OSZ. Yeah, it's I talk about random stuff on Twitter, but yeah, if you ever have any like ideas or questions or anything, or just want to chat about a dumb game thing, just hit me up and we'll chat. But yeah, I have a lot of fun doing these. So and let me say how looking forward I am to tomorrow's episode of the 2XP podcast. I'm because I love when Lord Cognito's on, and I cannot wait to see Jeff Grubb interact with you guys. So,
it's gonna be crazy.
Yeah, I am very much looking forward to that. I think it's going to be a really fun show, and everybody should tune in because I will be tuning in. So,
true. You can also, if you're listening to this and you don't know what the video looks like, because this will be where the podcasts are available, which if you leave us a review, we might read out on stream. You can find it at Level 1 Gaming if you want some more news and some other goodies. But this has been episode 8 of Cogs in a Machine, of how the Dreamcast paved the way for Xbox, and we would dove into their relationship and stuff. And next week, hold on, let me look at the calendar. No, that's the week after. Next week, whatever we pick, I hope you guys tune into it. And God, I love you guys. Thank you guys for being awesome, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Level up, never lose, should've had better luck. Tryna see a check, I'm running up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Level up, tryna see a check, I'm running up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Never lose, should've had better luck. I'ma wake 'em up from a slumber. Money ain't nothing but a thing, and the level ain't nothing but a number. Life ain't nothing but a game. Level up, never lose, should've had better luck. Tryna see a check, I'm running up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. I wanna evolve. Waking up meant that he gave me a chance and I'm rolling the dice. I do it all. Living like I'm trying to go for the platinum trophy in life. Who can you call? Really nobody, so you should just follow me on your device. And know if she chilling with me, then it's bound to be chemical X and the sugar and spice. Game in the system, but game is the hobby. I'm probably cocky, but hot as wasabi. I mean, if it's beef, then you know where to find me. My pickers is ready and so is my body. You should be running and telling your posse and what's in the speakers and what's in your potty. And she trying to kick it, but this ain't karate. Just keep that shit down while I'm watching Tsunami. I ain't saying I'm a super nerd, but I told you when we got involved, my idea of a perfect date is a PlayStation and some alcohol. I was role playing on GTA. I'm a good guy, but I got it all. If the world should end, be the first to leave, but the last of us acting naughty, dog. Level up, never lose, should've had better luck. Tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Level up, tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Never lose, should've had better luck. I'ma wake 'em up from a slumber. Money ain't nothing but a thing, and the level ain't nothing but a number. Life ain't nothing